Hey everyone, okay, today I'm going to show you the 5 areas of your face that you can highlight to really emphasize those features. And if you do nothing else with your makeup other than just highlight these areas, it can make a massive difference in the way that your face looks. I don't know if you can tell here, but I can in the mirror. I've just done an eyebrow tutorial, so if they look overly sculpted, that's why. Okay, so let's make a start. Okay, so one of the first areas to highlight is the area just around the eye, the sort of little V here, the tear duct area. I'm going to be using a gold pigment with a slightly damp brush, and I'm going to just apply the highlighter just around it. You don't apply it in it, obviously. So just apply it around the outside V, and you can just see that it just visually looks bright and nice. Let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. And by wetting the brush and the pigment, it gives it even more of a shine, which is really nice. The next area to highlight is actually underneath the brow bone. Now I'm going to highlight this really finely, because a lot of times when you highlight it sort of very strongly, it's very dated. It's a nice look for some people, but I prefer matte under the brow bone for the majority of times, even though I've done some tutorials otherwise. Using a very fine brush, I'm just applying it just under the brow bone, ever so slightly. And the way to think about this is, the more puffy and loose this bit of skin is, the less highlight you want. So you just want to do a tiny bit. There we go. So I'm hoping you can see that there's just a tiny hint of shine there. The area to highlight is right down the bridge of the nose. Now, a good kind of tip to think, if you've got a very narrow nose like this, you're best not kind of highlighting it, because you don't want to emphasize areas that you're not particularly fond of. But if it's like kind of like mine, it's okay. Never ever come all the way down to the tip. Just kind of stay in the bridge of the nose, and you can just see the highlight. And the good thing with the highlights is, with the nose, you only see it in certain angles. You shouldn't immediately see it in every given situation. And I'm using a gold pigment. Now, if you have very pale skin, very light skin, you might want to use one that's like a white gold. And if you have much deeper sort of ebony skin tone, you can use something like a burnt gold. I'm just using a standard gold color. A wonderful place to highlight is, of course, the cheekbone area. So I'm just changing brushes. You want to apply a little bit of your highlighter along the cheekbone area. Now, if you want to know where the cheekbone is, or you've got trouble finding it, take your finger and put it by the side of your nose, and take it to the top part of your ear, slide your finger down, that's your cheekbone. You want to apply this high up onto the cheekbone area. If you have mature skin, or skin that is wrinkling or anything like that, always don't highlight any areas where there's wrinkles, because all you're doing is putting a spotlight on them, which isn't a good thing. So you just want to apply this right on top of the cheekbone, and don't come too far down, just on, say, the outside edge of where your eye is. And what you can do, if you really want, you can just turn it up ever so slightly, so it sort of forms an arc. And again, with this highlight, you should see it, and then you shouldn't. So you see it when your head turns, and then you don't. This is the most wonderful trick in the book. It's highlighting your Cupid's bow, which is this part of your lip. So take a small brush. See, instantly that makes you look at the lip. Now, I've done it quite heavy-handedly. Just knock off. Just gives you the most amazing kind of pout. Particularly when you've got on a red lipstick, it looks amazing. The other place to put it on your lip is right here on the bottom of the lip, right there, because then when you put your lipstick on, you're going over it, and you're going to get a beautiful sheen from it. Even from a matte lipstick, just this bit here is going to be highlighted, and it's going to look gorgeous. Okay, so those are the 5 high points. You can also highlight the center of your forehead, but we're going to leave that because that's a much more optional thing, because it can sometimes look like a beacon of light. But we've got the inner corner We've got just underneath the brow bone, we've got the side of the cheek, and we've got the Cupid's bow and on the bottom lip. And that is the 5 areas of your face to highlight to make the most of your complexion. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.